Jessica, Lynne, Witty, and Chris Jones on Damn Party.
You bring the sunshine.
You bring tequila. I make the best damn margaritas.
Parked on a chair somewhere on the beach. Summer's not that far out of reach. I got the itch for hitting some toes in the sand.
Maybe I can even catch me a tan.
Just drinking,
No thinking
playing,
and singing.
grab a guitar.
The next thing you know is
it's a party that was started and I think it's getting hotter and it's vibing non-stop and summer's got me feeling a locked in. Baby got me playing and singing the tunes. Doesn't matter if it's on the beach or just a place that makes you move. You can throw a party at your own damn party, not a damn thing they can do.
Hello there, and welcome to Chit and Chat, encouraging one another podcast. I'm your host, Jody Sheffield. Today, we dive into the great conversation with country artist Jessica Lynne Witty. She is from the Pacific Northwest via Denmark, and she's always going places. She's in Nashville quite often. We had a great conversation about her music, about her career. We also shared some music by Joe Gibson Jr., and a brief message by Braden Marty, CEO of Veteran Roasters Coffee. Kick back and relax. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Good morning. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning, Jody. How are you?
Not bad, yourself?
I'm doing great.
I'm excited to be talking with you today.
Yeah, me too.
I'll get going with my little introduction. And today, my guest was originally from Denmark. She made her way over to the United States, and her vocals might remind you of Carrie Underwood, perhaps Mariah Carey, but she has her own style. She's making a huge name for herself, and she is open for some of my country artists I love: Trace Atkins, Dinah Rio, Sawyer Brown, even Jeff Foxworthy, and many, many more. And the best thing about Jessica Lynne Witty is she is from my neck of the woods, the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to the Chit and Chat, encouraging one another.
Hey, Jody, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm so
Thanks
glad
for that intro. That was huge.
I rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it. So I'm excited to be talking with you today.
Awesome.
And I'm ready for this.
Great. I'm excited to be talking to you too.
I just recently came across you your Facebook, and I'm like, oh, Jessica Lynne Witty. I listened to some of your music, and so I'm listening to you. I'm like, she's from the Pacific Northwest. This is pretty awesome.
I know. It's not. I'm not usually. You don't usually get that kind of country music from out here, right?
Right. I'm born and raised from Arkansas, so I was and
Yeah.
it's always been I have great stories and memories from listening to country music. Before we get going, I got some icebreaker questions for you. Kind of some weird questions for you. If you could do a trio concert with you and three other country musicians, either past or present, who are you inviting on stage with you to do you and three others? Who are you want?
Me and three others?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah, I knew the two because I thought I'd be the third one, but one more. Okay. Okay, so the two would definitely be, and this is fully selfish, would be Patsy Cline and Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Because
yeah,
they are the badassest women in the industry, are. And I would just love to be in their presence and pick their brains. That's that's that. Yeah, I'm trying to think because yeah, I guess I throw Kenny Chesney in there.
Okay, yeah.
I've always that's my dream, to collaborate with him. So
have you met any of those artists?
no, I have not. I haven't.
What? One day you will.
Oh, thank you for the vote of confidence. I love it. Well, you do get to meet some very interesting people. I mean, I was in Nashville. I had one of my co-writers. It just happens to be Brad Paisley's childhood friend. You know, we're all one or two removed from, don't they say 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? So we're all like one or two removed from some of the bigs. And
Yeah.
so like, yeah, it is really within reach when you travel to Nashville enough and you're in those circles, then yes, a whole lot of those people, you know, someone who knows them
Right.
always. Yeah.
In our conversations getting up to this, I mentioned I had Joel Gibson Jr. on it, talking to people from the Pacific Northwest who are making a name for themselves, and I'm excited about you and your career, and just yeah, I'm just excited for you.
I love Joel Gibson Jr. He is not only an incredible songwriter and singer, his voice is stellar, but he's such a cool person. He and his wife, we did a backyard party with Aaron Crawford, and then Joel and myself. And we had the best time. And we ended up unplugging and just jamming with the audience, just without, just standing there
Right.
in the middle of everybody. And it was so freaking fun. So yeah, he's an amazing person.
I love his couch concerts. I can watch, I can watch at home. I'm cooking dinner or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun to watch.
We all got a really good handle on what works for us live streaming wise. I do my honky tonk happy hour every Thursday at 5 PST.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's today. You can jump on. It's on YouTube, and okay. I also have it on Facebook, and it's in my group, my Rebels group. So it's not like fully accessible. It's you kind of have to do a few steps, but YouTube is the easiest plug and play. So you should come in and say hi.
I will do that. So second question is, I'm giving you the capability of going on a 2-week vacation, you and your husband, possibly anywhere in the world you want to go. Where do you want to go for 2-week vacation?
A 2-week vacation?
Yes, ma'am.
A cruise down the Nile.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, stopping at all the ancient sites.
Okay,
that would be fantastic.
Yeah, kind of historian in that.
Oh, I'm a history and archaeology buff.
Okay,
mostly, yeah.
Do you prefer chocolate or candy, and what's your favorite?
Candy, salty licorice from Denmark.
Okay,
I have it imported.
Wow. My wife loves the saltwater taffy stuff, so.
Ooh, that is good too. I mean, I won't say no to any of it. That's a problem. But yeah.
If there was a movie about your life, and who would you like to play your character in your movie? Kind of your career, where it started. Now.
That's a really good question. These are good questions, Jody. You're really getting my brain working here in the morning.
Have you had your coffee yet?
Play me. I am drinking coffee right now, so we should be good.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna say, and this is actually funny because it actually was supposed to play a younger me. I would have Rochelle Henry do it. Okay. She is an up and coming young actor and film producer. And she director, I think, and she kind of has the blonde hair, the freckles. She could totally pull it off, and she is a sweetheart. So if you want to, she did an early piece in my music video "Calling Me Home," which is on my YouTube channel. So she's in there, and so I would probably hire her to play me.
I just watched it last night. Actually, I was doing.
There you go.
Background work, and I was watching some of your videos. And yeah, I did watch that one. And last question: who has had the greatest impact on your life and your career?
Wow, who has had the greatest impact? That's a really good question. At this point, I'm gonna go full on schmoopy here and say my husband.
Okay.
Because he showed me what a true partnership is. Like, he's not really involved in my decision making in my career and my business, but anything that of course affects our lives, like mm-hmm. how much I travel to Nashville and even financing behind it. Like when we figure out how to pay for all these things, and recordings and that stuff was not cheap. So he is my biggest supporter, and he's really made a difference in the way that I look at what's possible.
And what's his
So
name?
his name is Raymond Hayden. He's an artist himself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a band called Grieve the Astronaut. I mean, I'm a backing singer in it.
Okay. On one day.
You should. He's a hoot.
For those who don't know who Jessica Lynne Witty is, would you mind giving a brief bio about yourself?
Okay. Let's see. I grew up in Denmark on the other side of the pond, and in 2010 I decided to move to the States and become a country artist, and I have been pursuing that dream ever since. And I have been lucky enough to open for some big acts. You mentioned them earlier: Trace Atkins, Dustin Lynch, Keith Anderson was one of my favorites, and stand on some big stages like the Gorge in the Gorge Amphitheater. I'm sure. The journey has led me to spend a lot of time in Nashville and co-write with some really amazing people like Don Ellis, and I have an agent, a great publicist, and a publisher now. And I feel like my journey through all of this has been simply just to carry these songs that I have in me through, and really get a bigger and bigger platform to inspire people.
Okay. From Denmark to US, was that a difficult transition for you, or was that pretty smooth?
Well, as smooth as it could be. I was fortunate. I'm a dual citizen. My dad's American, and so that is why I picked the Pacific Northwest to start. I was never planning on staying here, but now I've been here for 12 years, and I just travel back and forth to Nashville. It just seems like a better fit for me, and I love it here. I love it in the Northwest, and so having family here definitely smoothed that transition. But it is strange because it's a completely different culture. There's still so many things. Like, there's still things that come up culture-wise that I don't know. I have to pull as I call it, I pull the Danish card, because I'm like, what's that? And people have to explain to me, so as smooth as could be. My friend moved here after me, and she's full Danish, and that was not a smooth transition. It's not, and it never is. It is hard. It is years and years of spending money on lawyers and permits and filling out Bibles of forms. And she's been here for 5 years, and she's still working on her she has a green card now and working on her citizenship. So it is a long and harsh process, and knots in the stomach, because you never know what's going to get approved, and you could get kicked out of the country.
Right.
And it's so I did not have to go through that. So relatively very smooth.
Okay. How important was you to have a good supportive network of family and friends as you that have your dad here, or your parents? Did that really help you kind of get settled in?
It did. I mean, one of the biggest blessings that I got out of this move was getting closer with my dad and my stepmom. They are amazing people, and they helped me out tremendously in the beginning. So, like, especially with the physical things of, like, finding an apartment, and I found a job on my own. But once I was like, I had that, then I needed a place to stay, and the transition was a lot smoother because of them. And then the whole getting into the music scene, I really had to put myself out there, which is uncomfortable. I'm very outgoing, but I'm actually not a very social person. Like, I don't thrive on social interactions. I need a lot of downtime to counteract that. So I really had to, like, just push forward, and I made fast friends with other musicians, and just started going down that rabbit hole of putting on shows and meeting people. And I joined a group called Songwriters in Seattle, which was one of the biggest catalysts for me to have a support network in the music industry.
Were you singing as a young child, in your teens maybe? Were you kind of get ideas of writing songs or just singing? When did that come around to you?
Um, my mom said I sang before I talked, so I have always sung. I remember putting words to an existing melody. Like there would be an English song and I'd write Danish words to it, or a Danish song and I write English words to it. Like so when I was like 6 years old. So
Wow.
I've been creating music ever since I can remember. And I did not have a music community around me at all. My mom has a beautiful voice. My dad has a beautiful voice. My dad played guitar for a bit, and but I was hungry for it in a way that nobody else in my family was.
Mm.
So music has been a big part of my life ever since I can remember, and it's only really now that I have gotten to really live that out and get as creative as I possibly can and want to be with music.
You've taken some top honors from the Washington State level at the Texaco County Showdown, the nation's largest country talent show. What was that like?
Ooh, that was hard. I've never thought music should be a competition, and of course, primetime TV shows us something different.
Mm-hmm.
I've never believed in every man for himself and elbows out and kick everybody on your way up. I've never believed in that. I never thought that I was in competition with anybody else around me making music. I always thought we were colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I looked at it. So being in a competition was weird. And I the I did really well until the last round. So the last round was the round before Nashville, and it was in Southern Oregon. And I remember standing on stage just feeling completely defeated before I was even defeated.
Oh wow.
I was so intimidated by the whole thing. I couldn't even breathe. And so that probably contributed to, it's not that my talent was there. I you know, I was as good as the other people on that stage, but I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like I belonged there. So that was really rough on me to be in a competition, which also made me not want to do any of the other bigger competitions like The Voice or something like that. No, thank you. I can't. My nerves.
Why country music? Was this
You know,
something about it?
there's something about it, isn't there? It's one of those fluke things that I don't believe in flukes. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe things happen for a reason. And it's one of those things where I fell in love with country music when I was home from school one day as a kid. And my mom had, she'd listened to Jim Reeves and Patsy Cline, the kind of 60s Nashville
Yep.
style pop. And um, I didn't think more or anything more or less of it. It was fine. But when I heard new country in the 90s, I was blown away. Faith Hill, Reba McEntire, Garth Brooks, John Michael Montgomery. Oh, John Michael
Oh
Montgomery, I
yeah,
love
yeah,
him.
yeah. Yep.
He's amazing. So the song that really did it for me was Faith Hill's Wild One. I was about the same age as the girl in the video, and um, I just felt like she was singing about me. And ever since then, I've been in love with country music. There's not a lot of country music going on in Denmark. There's still not. There's more now, but there's still not a lot. And like I was telling mom, I opened for Trace Adkins. She's like, who? I'm like, so so it's like it was a bit of an uphill battle being in love with country music and being able to do nothing about it. So when I turned a corner when I turned 30 and um, had a bit of an awakening and realized I need to pursue this, and I
Mm-hmm.
cannot do it from here, as in Denmark. I couldn't do
Mm-hmm.
it from there. So that's what it had just been in me all that time. And in the meantime, I've been doing all sorts of different kinds of music, right? So I've done gospel music of all things, and rock music, pop music, eh, you know, all those kinds of music. And I love it. It's been inspiring, but it's not where my heart is. My heart is in country music. So,
Gotcha.
mm,
Your head. How many songs have you written?
ooh.
It's so thinking.
Hundreds. I don't even remember half the songs I've written.
What gives you?
I can remember a concept of a song that I wrote when I was in my teens or in my 20s, and but half of them are gone and not documented anymore. So, do they still exist? Is that still a song? I don't know.
What gives you inspiration to write songs? Is it like life stories, or just something comes to your heart and you want to get it on paper?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Sometimes it's full on diary. You just really try to work through something in your life, and I sit and I write it down, and it comes out as a song.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts rhyme apparently. And then there are other times where I just come up with something funny or something clever, and I will write a song about that. Like for Beer Run, one of my songs on this latest album, sounds like it'd be a drinking song, right? But it's not. It's a song about domestic abuse. So it's like my Goodbye Earl song. And it's kind of, so it's that kind of lighthearted approach to it.
Gotcha.
But still kind of severe. And so the premise is he went on a beer run and never came home. Like that's the story we're telling.
Gotcha.
And I actually have been in an abusive relationship, so I felt I was okay to write something like that. But sometimes the songs that I write come out pretty controversial, and I don't feel like that fits my brand of music, so I don't put them out. But that doesn't mean the song doesn't have a place in the world that someone else could sing it, or it doesn't mean that I might not someday. So It's like inspiration comes from everywhere, especially when you're co-writing. You get somebody else's story, somebody else's values and feelings and meanings to come in there, and then it becomes something completely different. And I love it. It's great. It's being able to create songs about any concept in the world.
Mm-hmm. I was born in 1970, and I love the 80s and 90s music era. And one of the songs is Garth Brooks, "When the Thunder Rolls," and that was kind of controversial as well about an abusive relationship. So that took a while for the red verse of that song, and it was definitely it spoke to a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, even his song "We Shall Be Free" was controversial at the time because it from what I've heard, the stories surrounding that song, his label didn't want him to put it out. He just did it anyway because he's Garth Brooks, and I love him. And that was actually one of the most inspiring songs for me to hear in the 90s as a kid, just listening to country music, because it embraced everything that I love and stand for. Racial equality, sexual equality, and religious freedom, and all those things that in my mind America stands for. And he put it in a song so beautifully that that song was very influential to me, only to find out it was very controversial for a lot of people. And that's
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, carry on.
I still remember staying outside the fire with the disabled kid running and track, and I'm like, that just hits heartstrings for me. I'm like, wow, that was so powerful.
I get goosebumps thinking about that song. Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Where was the first place you performed at? Do you remember?
The Spotted Cow in Mill Creek, Washington.
Okay.
When I came over here.
Okay.
Yeah. I performed at some local venues in cover bands and a lot of churches with my gospel choir. But my own show, my own music, my own songs, was a little coffee shop up in Mill Creek, Washington State.
Nice. Do you have any, like, the top 3 places you love to perform at? Is the Grand Ole Opry your top one, or you have others?
I would say the Grand Ole Opry / the Ryman. Okay. They're 2 different things, obviously, now. The Grand Ole Opry might be in sights. This is fun because my duo, the Redneck Files, Chris Jones and I, we've been nominated for a Josie Music Award, which is the biggest independent music awards in the world.
Congratulations.
And Thank you very much. And we have applied to see if we can get to play at that event. So we'll see if we do. It's hosted at the Grand Ole Opry. Then I would actually be playing on the Circle on the Floor, and that would
awesome.
be huge. So yes, absolutely that one. And then of course the Ryman Auditorium. And there are a couple of Nashville venues that are on my bucket list, like the Bluebird Cafe and Third and Lindsley. I've played the Listening Room. I checked that one off. That was one of mine too. So they kind of come little by little, and sometimes the door just opens. You don't know when or how. You just have to be open to it, right?
Your first Nashville album, Can't Me Vacation. I love that title, by the way. It was released in 2016. What was that like? How did the album come out?
Oh, it was thrilling. I finally because I've been recording here in the Northwest, trying to get the Nashville sound, and it doesn't work that way. I just didn't know that, and so I finally took 5 songs that I felt were my strongest at the time, and just did an EP. It's an album, an EP, which is just a shorter album, to clarify. And I took them, not only did I take them to Nashville, I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with one of my favorite songwriters, Gary Burr. He wrote a lot of hit songs, most notably probably Try to Think About Elvis for Patti Loveless.
Mm-hmm.
That rings a bell? Yeah,
yep.
That guy.
Yep.
He's one of my biggest inspirations for songwriting, because he wrote a lot of Faith Hill songs, like her filler songs. And I got to sit down with him, and he said, "Send me your songs and I'll give you feedback." And that was because he's like, "I'm not really ready to write with you, or you're not really ready to write with me yet." Actually, that's what it was. Like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't at the level where I can write with someone like Gary Berg yet, but he was sweet enough to actually say, "Let me look at your songs." And he did. And he gave me amazing feedback that made the songs better. And then I went in Larry Beard studios down in Nashville and did those recordings, and I was just blown away. I was blown away at how easy it was to get the sound that I wanted for them. They worked the way I already did. That's what blew me most away. I brought in a reference song, and they knew what that was. Which is kind of like, oh, I wanted to sound a little bit like this. When I'd done that in the past, they just up here, they just didn't. They were like, well, that's already been done. They didn't. So when in Nashville, they're like, okay, yeah, we get the groove, and then they make it their own. And it's I mean, if you've ever heard of how these Nashville cats work when they do these songs, they spend half an hour tops, and that's what you hear is what's on that record.
Wow,
it's incredible. No overdub or anything, just vocals afterwards, and then boom. So
I was reading about a 2020 award-winning single you had, "Crazy." It set a tone for a new chapter in your career. Would you mind explaining that a little bit?
It did, because it was the first song I put out after was it right before my name? It was right around the time of where I changed my name. So I was one, it was a new chapter, because I was co-writing a lot more. I was writing more stronger songs, I think, and it was kind of more of that kick-ass stuff that came out. But it was also a new chapter because I was formerly known as Jessica Lynne, and there were 3 other Jessica Lynnes, and we kept getting confused. And so to backtrack, when I started out, the first thing I did was make sure there was nobody else called Jessica Lynne. But apparently the others didn't. So it's just one of those things that eventually I just had to cave and was like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm tired of constantly butting up against other people with the same name.
Right.
So I added my original last name, Witty, which is that's my given name. That's what I've always been called. So now it's a really long name, but at least it's distinctive, and confusion is now gone. So it was a new chapter for me, because I did a whole new branding around it.
Gotcha. I had a comedian on a little while ago, Bob Smiley, he's a Christian comedian, and there's another Bob Smiley as well. He had the same situation. They get each other's email and like, I want you to sing. I'm like, right. He goes, I'm a comedian. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It can get really confusing. One thing is if it's, if one person, like the Lady A conundrum,
Mhm.
if one person is doing, soul music and the other one is doing country, like that, nobody's going to confuse the two. They're going to realize this is not, this is the one I'm looking for or whatever.
Right.
But this was full on country musicians, like four of us. Name the same thing. I'm like, you guys are stupid. I'm sorry. So I pulled myself out of that race.
So the Chit and Chat Encouraging Podcast is about encouraging others. During your career, I'm sure you received support, encouragement from friends and family. What is that like, having such a supportive group in telling you, hey, I love your music, very powerful? How has that helped you in your career?
Well, it's been amazing. I mean, my family carried me through the first years here, and then now I have family. I will call them family that I met here in the Northwest. Ben and Barbara Potter. Barbara's taken pretty much all my photos, and Ben and I actually he has a new release coming out where one of the songs is one that we co-wrote. So I write with Ben, and this couple they let me stay with them for the first and they helped me out and they got me gigs in Nashville because they moved to Nashville. And then I came and visited them there, and that helped me kind of get my foothold in Nashville. So having people like that who are just willing to give back or pay it forward or however they like to look at it, because I'm sure somebody did that for them, has been you can't even put a price on it, because it's so hard to do this stuff already. So without, if you didn't also have that support network, I wouldn't know if I would be able to keep doing it. It's incredible. I feel very blessed and very supported.
What are some of the newest songs you have? You have a new album out, correct?
Yeah, I do, called Take the Lead.
You share a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It's actually the first one I printed on vinyl. That was a new avenue for me. So the Crazy on the Outside that we just talked about is on that album, and it's I spent the entire year of 2020 doing a lot of live streams, obviously, because we all did, but also rebranding my name and all that stuff. And once that was done, we started putting out a single every month, and we did that through 2021. Every month, even though we were back to work with live shows, it was very, very hard. I wanted to do a video for each song too, but I could not keep up. So finally we were like, okay, we need to slow down just a little bit because the radios cannot keep up either. So that whole album came out of all these singles that I put out. And I held on to one song as I put the album out, two songs actually, Dance with the Devil and a song called Bold, which you were saying about inspiring people. That's what that song is about. I think of other people, and then I'm brave, and then I'm bold, and then I'm fearless. So that's that. I think, again, it's my strongest songs yet. It's the best production yet. It's and it just keeps getting better and better, which it should, right?
Right.
And it's my first full length album as well, and it has bonus tracks on it and duets on it, and it's oh, and it's my first explicit too. I say the S word in one of the songs.
No.
I know, so daring. So it has that little E on it. So fun.
Who's inspired, giving you helpful advice, like tips in kind of when you're recording songs, or maybe you're doing a video? Any inside scoop on, hey Jess, try this, or try that? Anything that's kind of stuck with you?
Well, I mean, obviously Gary Burr listening to my songs and giving me feedback, that was huge. It helped me become a better writer in general. And then during COVID, we didn't have a lot of options. I've had music videos planned for basically every song I've ever written. The problem is actually getting them done because it's expensive and you don't get the return on the investment. It's not like you could sell a music video, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you don't really even get the return on the investment on the song. So it's like, well, so why do them? Well, it really, really helps the promotion of a song. So yes, I see the value, but I still also couldn't cough up, maybe 5 grand or something to create a professional music video. So during COVID, I basically said screw it, and I told my friend who I know who directed my first video, "Calling Me Home," which I was able to do because I got a grant to do it. Um, I told her, "Here, grab my iPhone. We're gonna go out and we're gonna just film me singing." And she was like, "Fine. I got nothing better to do." That was always during COVID, right? And so we went to
A
a
true friend there.
fairground. I know, exactly. We went to a fairground and closed down fairground, and I'm not allowed to say which one. Um, and filmed the whole thing. And then we were on the roller coaster in the carts and everything. And they came over, and, you guys can't be on there. So luckily by then we were done. But that was the video for It Made Me Me. And that kind of sparked a whole new way of doing music videos. So I just made sure I had better equipment and I edited the thing. And I realized
Wow.
I have a knack for it.
Look at you
So
go.
yeah, I know. So the only thing I can't do is actually film myself. That's strange. But my friend also has a really good drone. And so the next one we did entirely with the drone.
What song's that?
That's the Long Way Around.
Okay.
And it's filmed in the Mazama Winthrop area of Washington, up in the northern Cascades.
Okay.
So yeah, take a look at that. It's a real beautiful scenery and stuff like that. So it's not very storytelling, but it's a video. It works. So that really kind of shook some things loose for me to get some visuals for some professional looking video.
Gotcha.
Video and visuals for my songs, and everything's so visual now. You were mentioning TikTok earlier, right?
Yep.
Everything's so visual now. You have to have visuals for everything. So
I'm not quite on the video part of the podcasting yet. This is really audio. I don't want people to see my ugly face.
nah, yeah.
But
Well, I'm
I want to
grateful
get there
because
eventually,
I'm
though.
not wearing makeup right now.
What do you find most rewarding about your career?
It's personally rewarding. Just and my little heart is happy to sing, and it's happy to create songs and make music. But when someone sends me a note on how a song impacted them or tells me how much they love my music and how it's their soundtrack to something to their lives, or like a producer friend of mine, Eric Lilleblatt, told me, he said, "You got to play Calling Me Home." And I'm like, okay. He said, "That's our moving song." They had his family, they were listening to that song as they were moving and pulling up to their new house, like purposely. That was their anthem for moving. And it still brings tears to my eyes. So inspiring others as I have been inspired by songs, that does it for me right there.
And you're encouraging others as well. I saw you have a great foundation, the Diamonds in the Dust Foundation. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. It's been a little bit on hiatus the last few years because of COVID. It's been hard to manage all these things. We started a foundation. We take donations, and then what we do is we invite. This is very much about empowering women because I feel like there's still an inequality in the world around gender bias, and I've felt it firsthand, and I want to prioritize helping women. So basically, if you're a female or identify female and are 17 and older, and all you have to do is basically submit a video talking about why you're passionate about something. It could be your children. It could be, we had the first recipient we had of our grant, and our grants we have 2 grants right now. One is 500, one is 100. So it's not a lot, but it's something. The first one was a storyteller for children, and she did it online, and she needed a new computer. for, doing better work, and that helped her out. And Rochelle Henry was actually the recipient of the other one, the next one. And the actor I mentioned earlier, she was going through more of film school. So she was, it helped her get her degree and get better at what she's passionate about. So it's all about being passionate about something, having something in your life that you simply can't not do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what it's all about.
My podcast was originally a coffee shop idea I had a number of years ago, a place called Just Chit and Chat, what you do over coffee. And there were so many different coffee places. I'm like, yeah, it costs money. It didn't have that. So I'll bring it to a podcast. So
there you go.
How I got started with doing podcasting, was just that simple knack and idea. You just released another hit. I just saw Your Own Damn Party with Chris Jones.
Yeah.
What was that? You're on the beach somewhere, aren't you?
We are. Okay. Wow. So we went on a 5.5-week tour across the states earlier this year, Chris and I, as the Redneck Files. And we were, him, his wife, and me in we called it the Neckmobile. Get it?
Yep, I get it.
Okay. And it's a 24-foot trailer, so or RV. And so that's basically how we lived for almost 6 weeks. We'd just done an 11-day stretch in Florida, 3 shows a day, and for 11 days we were exhausted.
Wow.
And drove up for our last show in North Carolina. So that is filmed on Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So completely other end of the, and we've been meaning to finish a full music video for it. Right now we only have a promo snippet.
Yep.
But you've seen the weather lately up here in the Northwest. We haven't
really?
had above 72 degrees, and when we do, it's raining.
We have sun about twice a week.
Well, we usually do, but this last month has been and you can't plan it, right? Because it shifts all the time. So we're waiting for some summer weather, and we're gonna make a video. We're promised.
Awesome.
But yeah, so Your Own Damn Party is our summer anthem song. My duo with Chris has been so fun and so effortless, and we just love making music together. We have a single out called Redneck Highway. Now we have the newest single, Your Own Damn Party. And we have 3 more songs coming, so we'll probably put out an EP.
Can you tell me about your website, JessicaLynneWitty.com?
Yes.
What all do you have on there?
Everything. I have all my tour dates. I have all my music. I have I have a news section. I even have links to my partners, like the Diamonds and the Dust Foundation, and some of the grants I received, and I'm a CMA member,
You have hats and more hats on your merchandise
I got
section.
a lot of merchandise. Yes. I do, because I'm a graphic artist, so I create my own merchandise, and it's these days with dropship, it's so easy to just slap a design on a t-shirt and call it a day, right? So you may make a little bit less, but at least you don't have to print up inventory in the same way that you used to. So my latest piece of merchandise is actually a USB drive with everything I've ever done.
That's awesome.
So it has all the music videos on it. It has all my songs, except for my Redneck File songs. They're not on there yet because we need to figure out how to do that. But it also has 6 unreleased songs and an unreleased live video. So
wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there. It's just called Everything so far. Because I'm not.
You're going to be in Gig Harbor in the near future, aren't you? A concert?
Am I?
I think so.
I don't know. I can't remember. What am I? What's my name? Who am I? Yeah, I can't.
Late August, I think, somewhere in August. I'll have to check it out and see, but I'll definitely promote you and share your.
Please. Actually, I think you're talking about Auburn.
Auburn, okay.
Yeah, on the 25th, I'll be in Auburn, Washington, doing the summer concert series, and then I'll be at the Pacific County Fair on the 26th of August.
Any words of encouragement for someone out there who might be afraid to say step out of their box, to sing, to write, they may have writer's block or just scared or timid, any words of wisdom for someone in that particular area in your life?
Yeah, it's when you step out of your comfort zone, it gets uncomfortable, but you only grow outside of your comfort zone. So you have to step out of it every once in a while to grow. You can stay in your comfortable zone for a bit because you have to be there to kind of get a bearing, but if you want to grow, you have to be uncomfortable.
Okay.
So small steps.
That should be on a
Don't
hat.
take the big leap all the time.
Jessica, thank you so much for your time, and I'm so excited for you and your career, and I'm so glad I came across you, and
I'm happy you did too.
sharing any music or anything. I'd love to share, promote you as well, and
Thank you.
just let the Pacific Northwest know about you. And thank you for your time, and continued success.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have a great day, and take care.
You too. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What a great conversation I had today with Jessica Lynne Witty. I apologize. The phone creaked out a couple of times in that conversation, but it was a fun conversation talking to her and getting her amazing story. You can check out our website at Jessica Lynne Witty, and it's spelled JESSICALYNNEWITTY.com. And follow her, check out some of her music, and it was a fun time talking with her and getting her amazing story from Denmark to Washington State, and she's definitely going places.
It's a really tough bridge and divide for many veterans when they come home from active service. What we try to do is bridge that divide. My name is Brandon Marty, and I'm the CEO and managing partner of Veteran Roasters Coffee. There's some great skills that can be transitioned to many different industries within coffee, and coffee's fun. We're all veterans here, veteran-owned, veteran-operated, and so there's a strong connection and trust that we all have in each other through similar service, and we support each other both personally and professionally in that growth. It's all about people here, and my goal is really to help them kind of establish a new life for them and their families, help them understand the benefits and resources available, and really create a pathway to the new phase of their lives.
I want to thank Brandon Marty for being a part of the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast, and their company is offering a discount when you buy bags from them, and when you use the code CHITCHAT25, we will receive 25% off. And he said they're all veterans working for the company, and they help veterans get on their feet, back on their feet, having some difficult time when they transition from the military. So just check out Veteran Roasters Coffee. It's coffee with a purpose. This is Roots by Joel Gibson Jr.
Roots anchor like an evergreen, strong as I've ever seen, proud of where I'm from. You can count on me like the setting sun. Like an old Ford truck with a 302. Roots. Everywhere I've been, no matter where I go, it's in my heart, it's in my soul. Where I crashed and burned, where I learned to grow, it's a love like I've never known. fits me like a good pair of broken-in cowboy boots. Roots.
That there was Roots by Joel Gibson Jr. You can check out his website, joelgibsonjrmusic.com, for his scheduled upcoming events and the opportunity to buy merchandise, hats, hoodies, and much, much more. And there's a great bio on there and his accolades. But check out joelgibsonjrmusic.com. This is Chit Chat. Hey there, thank you so much for joining the Chit and Chat, encouraging one another podcast. And we had a great time with my guest today and sharing music by Joel Gibson Jr. and Jessica Lynne Witty. Hope you can check them out and maybe follow their websites and see when they're going to be in concert. And I hope you can subscribe and follow this podcast as we're reaching out to people all over the world and getting their story, where they came from, and encouragement that they received along the way. And thank you for being part of this podcast. And my goal simply is to encourage somebody each episode. And so, thanks for being part of the Chit and Chat, encouraging one on the podcast. Until next time, keep on encouraging others.